Welcome to How to Run Profitable Retreats podcast, the podcast that guides you not to only host retreats that thrive financially, but also transform people's lives. I'm your host, Leni Cavazos, and each week I bring you the best strategies and personal insights to help you create retreat experiences that transform lives, both your clients and your own. In our journey together, we'll dive into the secrets behind successful retreats, from crafting a unique atmosphere to mastering the logistics that ensure profitability. Whether you're tuning in for inspiring interviews with leading retreat experts or seeking actionable advice in our solo episodes, this podcast is your go-to resource for turning your retreat visions into reality. Don't miss out on any of our episodes and subscribe now. For more tools and a free guide on creating your own six-figure retreat business, visit theretreatplanner.com. Now let's get started and make your retreat dreams come true. Hello, welcome to another episode of How to Run Profitable Retreats. And I am so thrilled to have here today with me Nikia, who helps working and high-achieving women more beyond the exhaustion and overwhelm of hustle culture. She promotes real self-care and community connection by curating retreats designed to relax the mind, nourish the body, and recharge the soul. Wellness is found in engagement, not isolation. Nikia, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, so I know behind the scenes we were talking about how you started retreats actually because you were burnout. Tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I work as a physician, as an anesthesiologist in particular, as my day job. And throughout the years, I was always finding myself kind of missing something. And I would change jobs and change jobs and change locations. And then finally, when COVID hit, I was exhausted. And that's when I just realized just how burnt out I was and that I was always looking for something external to help me feel better. And so that is exactly when I started my internal journey to healing and recovering from burnout. And ever since then, it has just been a great ride of wellness and learning and growth. Obviously, it's not easy when you're trying to heal and overcome such, I guess, monumental pressures. You know, women, we feel so much pressure at work, at home, from family members, from kids, from anybody that in your circle. And so to overcome the burnout and exhaustion that came with that has been actually quite an amazing journey. So, and that's how I started planning retreats, was just trying to take care of myself and those closest to me.
Well, that's absolutely beautiful. And I really feel that like you said something so important. Like we put so much pressure on ourselves. And also, like I know when we go on holidays, I don't know if you've had this, but I always I used to have this like before I went into more like intentional traveling, that I would come back from the holidays. I'm like, I need a holiday from my holiday.
Yes. I am the queen of over planning. And so it's like, oh, if I'm going to go all the way there, I need to make the most of my time. And that didn't include much rest. And so I would always come back exhausted. And so that's when I planned my first retreat. I told my friends, this is not a girls' trip, okay? This is a very intentional retreat that is focusing on you, your mind, your body, and your soul. And we will not be overscheduling, and we will not be double booking, and we will be sleeping.
I love this. I remember there was this one retreat from a like where it had naps scheduled. Like this is like go take a nap. This is time for you to take a nap.
Yes, and I was like, you don't have to take a nap, but just go lay by the pool, go for a little walk, whatever you need to do. But we're not going to be going all day. We're going to have a morning session. We end with movement, and then we have a big gap where people were taking naps, going to the spa, going on hikes. Some girls were doing aerial yoga. That sounded exciting. I did not want to get in those silks just yet, but it's always just choose your own adventure, but and something that's refreshing and recharging for you.
I really like it. And like, tell us a little bit about, for everyone who's listening in the audience, like, okay, so I know you started your journey, like you needed this, so you created basically your own solution that I absolutely love. But what were the things that you like have learned throughout the process that you're like, well, I wish someone have taught me this beforehand, or, you know, maybe someone came to me and be like, hey, like, don't do this or do that.
Yeah. There's definitely a lot because it's always a journey when you're learning this type of thing. Because you might go into it, I went into it thinking, oh, it's just like planning any other event, and it's not. So I would say that the biggest thing for me was like the ambiance. And so that took me a long time to decide. Was I going to get like an Airbnb type house? Was I going to go to a hotel? Was I going to go to a resort? And so for the very first one, I ended up going to a resort because I had to decide as the host and the facilitator how I wanted to feel, because I know that my energy would kind of seep into the event. And I did not want to have to worry about toilet paper or food and snacks and allergies. I mean, obviously, I take the allergies in, but I just pass them on to the caterer. And they're like, okay, here's the options. So I chose to go the resort route because I knew that it would have all of that stuff on the back end and it would take pressure off of me, because at the time I'm still working full time as an anesthesiologist, right? So I don't really have the time to be finding caterers who can cook well and who can honor every guest's food choices. So those small things I think were helpful. I'm happy I did that. But there's a lot to learn with contracts, right? So the contracts, when you go to a big resort, that took a lot of reading. And I am just lucky that I have a friend who works in event planning who went over it with me and kind of broke it down. But definitely, if you're going to be signing any kind of big contract and it's your first venture or a new location, I would definitely encourage you to really read it and have somebody who's more knowledgeable go over it with you, because when you start reading about different things like, the add-ons, the percentages, the fees, those things add up and you can really mess up your budget if you didn't read clearly.
Yeah, I think this is something that you're bringing up, like two things that I see that are so important. And is the thing that I like teaching inside of my program for sure is like, first of all, it's not just about the people you're serving, the people coming to the retreat, is also about you. What do you want as a retreat host, right? What do you need in order to serve people better, right? And I think this is so valuable and not many people talk about it. So it's so powerful that you're bringing this up, because really you need to like take care of yourself before you take care of others.
I definitely agree. And you don't want to have that frantic, urgent energy as you enter the retreat, because they're going to feed off of you. So I went into my retreat, I felt really calm because I had a team that was managing everything. And so I know that that could be a more expensive route, as far as getting a resort and just getting room blocks. But at the end of the day, it was overall an amazing experience for my women and for me. So I think that
Yeah.
that's
I think that, yeah, that's so important. And then the piece of like reading the contracts and like, the fine print.
fine print, the percentages add up, not included, add additional fee. I was like, okay.
Yeah. So I come from a hospitality background, and for me, it's normal to know, right? So, sometimes we expect people to know this, to know that when you're doing a room block, they will charge you an extra percent of like tips and service charge than if you were to rent out the rooms separately. So, and that's usually in the contract. Sometimes it's not on the budget. It just says on top of everything, you're going to be paying 20% service charge, because we're serving you as a group. We're not serving you as individuals. So you're getting this, basically, let's say in a way, it's not like exactly like that, but you're paying for the conference concierge, right? The event manager, the event coordinator that's helping you, sending you the emails, creating these offers for you, like managing for you to have these like set menu dinners and whatnot,
Yeah.
right? And when you're going, sometimes like you go to a different place that is not a hotel, right? Then you might not have those things in the contract. They might not even exist there. So it's all about really considering the difference between hosting on an Airbnb, hosting on a retreat center, hosting in a hotel, a resort, a boutique hotel. Thinking about like some touristic destinations will have a daily fee per person, right? So like, and it's a tourism tax. It's not even the hotel, right? Like, for example, in Peru, you have that in many, many places. And it's like it's a resort fee, and it's like $25 per person per day. If you're there for 5 days, that's already $125 per person that you might not have considered.
Yeah. So you take all that stuff into consideration. Yeah, I live in Las Vegas and all the hotels have a resort fee as well. So you're going to pay your room fee, then your taxes, and the resort fee. And then you're just like, wait, all of these fees start adding up. And if you don't take that into account, if you're hosting an event and you're like trying to do your budget per person, you will come up a little short.
Yeah. And I always say, like, make sure your pricing is right. Your cost, your expenses are like really like grilled down to the bottom, because the reality behind it is that if you don't do that, you're eating your own profit.
Mhm.
And you're not setting yourself for success, for a successful business.
Yeah, and you'll be stressed out the whole time. Like,
So what are your thoughts about profitability in retreats?
my thoughts are ever changing. Obviously, when I first started, it was the beginning of a business, and I didn't know it was a business. I mean, like I went into it just doing it, and I'm like, oh, this is now going to be like part of my business. I've read and I've looked and I've heard a wide range of things about profitability of retreats, but I do think that they can be profitable if you get creative with how you do them. And so I've been reading different types of models where people have membership communities where you get the retreat, or you pay in and you can get number of retreats per year. So I have been looking into that, but overall, if you provide high value, then I do believe that you'll be profitable.
Yeah, 100%. It's really about the value that you're putting inside of the retreat at the end of the day, because, and let's have a conversation about this. Like, for example, I have this example where I say, like, if you come to retreat, and this is based on a real example from a retreat, right? So if you come to a retreat, it's a couples retreat for you not to get divorced. The value is not the hotel, right? It's not the activities. It's actually not getting divorced, right? It's how much money are you saving? How much emotional stress are you saving? Your health, like it goes everywhere, right? Like the health of, if you have kids, the health of your kids, the mental health of them, right? Paying for shrinks and like therapists and 2 households and the fee of the lawyer and all these kind of things. So wouldn't the value of the retreat be so much more beyond even thinking about, I'm going to add at 50% of top of my expenses?
Yes, I agree. And especially when I host retreats, focused on high achieving women who are just really exhausted and burnt out. And it's just the long-term value of kind of salvaging your life and your career. Because like at the point when I hosted my first retreat, I was like, I could just leave medicine and work at Target tomorrow. Like I was at that point of my burnout. And so it's just like I pay a few $1,000s for a retreat, and I come back and I actually feel better, and I'm able to maintain my work and my life and remember why I went into this career in the first place. Or I save a few $1,000s, and then in 2 years I can't even stand my job, and I just crash and burn, and I don't work, and I just kind of muddle through life. So the value has to be there, and I agree. Like it's the big picture. It's not just the money. It is the feelings. It is the long-term outcome of the shifts that happen in the retreat.
I love this. Yeah. And there's so many different business models for retreats, but wouldn't you agree that there has to be one that is specifically perfect for you?
Oh, I agree. And that's why I think that there's enough for everybody. People are like, oh, there's too many retreats. And I'm just like, well, no, they don't all speak to you. And although there's so many, whenever one speaks to you, you're going to know. And it's just like buying a car. There's a bajillion cars. It's not like there's just one type of car and you're like, I want a car, so I'm going to get this car. I want to retreat. But maybe in this season of my life, I want to be active and I want to go on a hiking retreat, or maybe I want to go on a silent retreat. And there's different types, there's different hosts, and the based on the language and the messaging, the energy that you get from the retreat. And so I definitely believe that there's options because everybody is so individual and multidimensional, and you have to just kind of figure out which one is best for you.
Yeah, I love that you brought this up, because this is something that I keep saying to whoever will listen. So any one of you listening to this, please listen to this again. You might have heard me before, but just maybe this is the moment that it will sink in. There is no real competition. Mm-hmm. You might be thinking that everyone around you is doing retreats, and because of that, there's too many retreats. And I like to break those belief systems just by saying, hey, there's 23 million millionaires in the US. Can you serve 23 million people? Will you ever reach in, like, even if you live 100 years, will you be able to serve 23 million of people? Now, go deeper. There's 8 billion people in the world. Will you be able to serve 8 billion people? Do you think inside of those 8 billion people, there's people who can and want to come to your retreat? Mm-hmm. Hell yes. Right. And it's even like that. So I'll ask you a question. So are most of your friends, like from like a work perspective, right? Are most of your friends doctors? and nurses.
Most of my friends are doctors or work in healthcare.
Yeah. So it would be easy to assume that everyone in the world is a doctor because you're surrounded by doctors, right?
You're surrounded by it, yeah.
Yeah. The same thing happens with retreats. You see everyone you're surrounded is doing something similar because you're looking at them, right? Like the algorithm is also helping you tons, right? So you might be thinking everyone is a retreat leader, but is everyone a doctor in the world? Is everyone a retreat leader?
No. Yeah, you get that tunnel vision. And sometimes I'm like, I know they say don't take it off, don't compare yourself. But sometimes you have to take off that tunnel vision and look around and be like, oh, like there's a, like, the comparison is not like a direct negative comparison. It's a comparison of the fact that, like, I can look at your retreat and be like, that looks lovely, but it doesn't look like anything that I would ever think to plan.
Yeah.
And so I can compare myself and be like, see, like, we can exist in the same space. We can both say that we're for wellness. We can both say that we have the same niche. We can both say we want to work with 40-year-old women who are, you know, working as doctors. And I can make it so specific that it's like, you are a 40-year-old woman with an anesthesiologist who lives in California. And the both of us could say the same thing and we would get different people and it would be a different retreat.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah.
Like,
so like, it is what it is. I don't try to compare myself, but like the comparison is just like, you just have to realize that other people who are doing the similar thing as you are not doing it the same way you are, and nobody can do it the same way you're doing it.
I love this. Oh my gosh, you're like speaking my language. So this is amazing. Yeah, because I love this because I truly believe that we're powered by our experiences, right? And no one can do what we do, right? So I have my program. So one is like, let's say, Mastering the Art of Retreat Planning, where people come and learn how to run retreats, right? And how to make them profitable and how to make them heart-centered. And I could give away the whole content of my program to someone else, and they could go and sell it. And it's never, ever going to be the same because they do not have my stories. They do not have my experience. So when they show up, they'll share their story and it might be perfect for those clients, but it's never going to be the same.
Nope.
So there's no real competition if there's no one else like you. The real competition is inside with yourself because you're the one comparing you with other people. Like, oh my gosh, this person is doing so amazing. And I remember like we had a summit in September and I asked people to raise their hands if they seen a coach who shared, you know, screenshots of how much money they made to then later, and then a bunch of people raised their hands, right? Like most of people. I'm like, okay, so everyone has seen that. Awesome. Yeah. And I'm like, now tell me, have you seen one of those coaches actually going back to their 9-to-5 job afterwards? 70% of the hands stayed up. And you might have been comparing yourself to that person who shared the screenshot of the $1 million. And you're like, I want to be that like that person. And that person actually did not really make it through.
Yeah.
Is that really like fair to your own psyche?
We're so unfair to ourselves for sure.
Yeah, we're so harsh, right?
Biggest judges.
Yeah, and I think that's why like retreats like yours are so important because people need to have this space where they can just go and be.
Yes. It's important to have the safe space to actually share the things that you are afraid to share. Because I know in this day of social, it's like, oh, everybody's sharing, they're oversharing and sharing, but they're not sharing the real, the hurt, the sadness. They're only sharing the highlight reel, right? So we have to go somewhere and be like, okay, I need to get this out in a non-judgmental, safe space. And I think that retreats are the best for that because that's literally what they are created for, to be heart-centered and to really connect deeply with each other.
Yeah, and you get to choose how you show up, right? Like for me, for example, in social media, like my friends tell me, like, Leni, you're the one who travels the most. You travel for business, you travel for pleasure. Like you're in all these super cool places all the time, and you never share anything on social media. I'm like, yeah, because I built my business in a way that I don't have to share on my social media where I am to make sure that people know that I can do my job. Yeah. It's actually one of the things. I'm like, I share what I want to share, right? And it gives me the possibility to keep my trips to myself, to actually ditch my phone and just enjoy where I am.
Oh, the joy of being grounded in the moment. and not posting about the moment.
Oh my God. Yes, I remember this like very specific moment. I was in Istanbul and I was in a park by myself on top of a hill. And there was this beautiful sunset. And I was just like, let me take a picture. And then I like took a second back. And this was like maybe like 9 years ago. And I was like, why am I taking the time to take a picture for someone else to see rather than me seeing the sunset? Why am I looking at the sunset through a camera lens rather than the real thing that I have right here in front of me that is never going to be again in front of my eyes? It's never going to be the same. And after that, I became the person who's like, nope, I'm not living my life behind the lens.
Yeah, it's a tough balance, I'd say. I'm still learning that currently, but I already enjoyed taking pictures before, so I'm trying not to get involved in like the business and metric part of it, and then just find the joy that I had in it before. Because I truly enjoyed Instagram. Like when it first came out, I was like, oh, I love pictures. So I love posting pictures and sharing pictures. But then, it becomes part of your business. And then you're just like, I have pressure and this and that. And so I'm like, if I just step back from the pressure and the expectation and just lean back into the joy of it and share content that actually is resonating with me, then it's going to resonate with people who need to find me.
Yeah, I think this is so important. And like tying this up to like retreats, I think sometimes like when we are so focused in like the business piece and the logistical piece and whatnot, we forget to enjoy.
Yeah.
Right. And I think this is a great important message for anyone who's listening, who's hosting retreats. Like make sure you keep the joy. And honestly, I'm gonna say this, and some people might not agree, and it's okay. If you are running a business that is profitable and you're making like $25,000 per retreat or whatever you want to make, right? But a fair amount. Worth your time and your energy and your value, right? Like you should be putting on a retreat. Like the first time you put on a retreat, the average is 200 hours of work. Yeah. So if you're making like $3,000, split those 3,000 by 200 hours and you're making $30 an hour. I mean, does that sound like you could be doing something else and making a lot more money than $30 an hour? I certainly think so. And you want to really think about this. So when you're running a business that is profitable, right? Like, and you're running your retreats as a business, not as a hobby, not as just like a cool thing to do because I want to go on a trip. You get to understand that actually profitability gives you freedom, gives you the space and the capacity to hire that photographer, to hire that social media manager, to hire an assistant to come and make sure that they're posting on Instagram so it's not you and you're not with that weight, right? To make sure that you have a copywriter to be able to pay for a program that will help you elevate your business, right? That will help you go from making 8K per retreat to making 25K. Well, it feels absolutely great for you. Hiring a coach that will teach you how to run a business that is suited to your needs, because like thinking about you, right? Like you have a full-time job and it's not something that you're planning to live like tomorrow. So maybe, but
oh no, I'm not gonna leave tomorrow, but there is an exit strategy.
There's a plan.
I do have a business coach now.
Perfect.
I'm getting coached. I had a VA who had to step away, so I'm looking for a new VA, and I have a business coach, which is like my first steps of releasing, some of that external pressure.
Exactly. But if you wanted to stay on for, let's say your exit plan was 5 years, no, or 10 years or whatever, right, you would want to be able to build a business for your retreats where that fits your lifestyle. May it be a full-time job, may it be traveling, may it be staying at home, whatever it is, right? You want to be able to like really put the pieces together for that business.
Agree. Good framework. That's what I'm working on now. I'm definitely building. Now that I've hosted 5, it's getting pretty good, but people think that the first one should be seamless. And I think my first one, the presentation went seamless, but behind the scenes, I was a little bit of a mess. And I learned those lessons and I was like, okay, next time. But every obstacle, everything is a lesson, right? And so each one has gotten better based on lessons I've learned and feedback I've received. And I just take that. And I just know that we'll continue to improve and grow.
Yeah, no, I love this. And of course, you have, your path has been absolutely amazing because you started so organically and then you got to learn and to experience. But also for all of you who are listening and you just like want to skip a little bit of like the learning curve, right? That's when you come and you hire a coach, right? That's when you come and join one of my programs, right? So
I definitely should have did that sooner. But like I said earlier, it kind of was a hobby that evolved into a business. So it was very organic and I kind of didn't want to own that initially. But now that I've been making the strides. So
good.
yes, want a shortcut, you got to hire a coach who can tell you all their obstacles and you can learn faster. That's the best way. Learn and fail fast.
Yes, because like honestly, things are still gonna happen inside of the retreats. Like, no, like I'm not gonna lie to any of you who are listening to this. Like, even if you take the best coaching program and like, like, and I am one of like the best, but like, let's say you're working with me and I teach you all my tricks and secrets and I help you through the process and we go through that. That's not gonna actually prevent things happening inside of the retreat and having your own learning experiences because there are certain things that you just need to learn on your own in order for them to really stick.
Yes.
It is a thing, but what about if you get to like skip a bunch and just really learn the ones that you really need to learn on your own?
Yeah, there's definitely some standard ones that you're gonna like, as far as contracts, locations, those sorts of things that you should definitely have ironed out first. People will always people, and when you're dealing with the retreat, you can't control the people that are coming there. And so you try your best to control the environment and be prepared for whatever comes your way. But yes, the environmental ones and the ones that are involving you, it's best to have a coach help you through the way. I agree.
I love this.
If I could go back, I would definitely have hired a coach after the first one. But it just it
It
just
is what it is.
it just unfolded. So
Yeah, and then look, you're still doing retreats. You have the coach now. Like for any of those of you who are thinking, oh, maybe I hosted a few retreats already, and like there's not much more to learn. I am here to tell you there is so much to learn because like I have clients who come with me and they're like hosted 13 retreats and they're not being profitable. And they come and they talk to me and we have sessions and they join my advanced programs. And guess what? Now the retreats are profitable. Just doing a couple of tweaks, changing a few things, changing the way you do a marketing campaign. Like we don't expect you to be a marketing guru. Like no one is born with like inner knowledge of everything. And you're not expected to do that. You're supposed to be doing, what? Hosting people, helping them transform their lives. And then everything else is an add-on, right? But you do want to learn how to do something, even if you're going to hire a marketing person to do it for you, because then you know if it's working, if you're getting the results, if it's properly done, if that's the right person, because if not, you end up spending thousands of dollars. This has happened with people running ads. Thousands of dollars running ads to get people into the retreat. And guess what? Later on, they're like, oh my gosh, I spent $250 per person on ads. And I did not count that for inside of my budget. If we factor that in, right, as like a simple step, then and you can also tell what is the expected cost for you to actually capture a lead for your retreat. So it's really all about getting yourself into this like place when you're like, if you're hosted retreats already, how can you up level your business and really make it a business that one day, if you wanted, you could sell it.
Yeah, you can always up level. There's always one more thing to learn.
Yeah, and it's also about how can you serve people better. Because the better you become, the better you serve others. So it's really an act of service, like investing on yourself. Oh my gosh, Nikia, this has been absolutely amazing. How can people find about your retreats? I mean, like, I know a lot of people in this audience are thinking like, oh my gosh, that's for me. Like, sign me up.
Oh, yes. So I'm very, very active on socials. Like I said, I do love Instagram. I'm an Instagram girly at heart. So you can find me on Instagram at She Is Fire Forged. She is Fire Forged, and I am always posting, always messaging. It's just my way of communicating.
Oh, I love this. Thank you so much, Nikia, for being here. And for everyone who listened to this, thank you so much. And if you like this episode, make sure you leave us a comment below and share it with a friend so more people can learn about the value of hosting retreats. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you all next time.
Thanks for having me.
Yay. Thank you. This was so good. I enjoyed it. I think we got so much out of from it was very good content. It was to the point, and I was just like, this is good. Something that I like shorter episodes in a way, because people stay on all the way to the end, and I want them to stay to the end so they know about you. And I just felt like we ticked so many boxes that were so juicy.
It was good. It was very good. It was very easy. Like whenever you get off and you're like, that was easy. That was smooth.
Yeah. And this business coach that you hired, is it especially a retreat coach, or is it
It's not a retreat coach, so I might be reaching out to you soon. But I am I'm kind of revamping my model, because I went into the retreats because of my personal stuff, but I wanted to build a community. So right now I have a business coach who's helping me build a community, and I'm still going to be offering retreats. And so, like I said, there's always stuff to learn. And I actually am thinking of pivoting from hotel resorts to a different type of venue. Haven't figured it out yet. So you might see me sliding on in to your course or get some coaching as I kind of reconfigure my whole business. Yeah, retreats will be there though. Retreats are there. People are already asking me for the dates for my retreats for next year. So I'm like, I can't stop. But
yeah. And I mean, if something is working, why fix it?
Oh yeah, it's definitely working. So what happened is after every retreat, people are like, oh, okay. I'm like, now what? Now what? And I'm like, okay. And so I am a coach, but I am a coach, but I don't really want to coach.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, I'll do a community and I'll kind of do more group coaching, but I want it to be more about connecting and interacting with each other, as opposed to everybody interacting with me. So that's the part I'm working on now, because after every retreat, everybody goes, how do we all stay connected? I met all these girls and we connected. And so I put them in WhatsApps and group messages together, but I'm trying to yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I really like this. And I have to say, some of the things that we work, one of my specialties is loyalty marketing. So it's how you keep people actually working with you on repeat. Yeah. So they keep coming to your next retreats, and they join your membership or community. And then maybe you have a 1 month group coaching on a specific topic that you like. One day you get excited and you're like, oh my gosh, I really want to teach about this. Or, you know what I mean? Or you co-create with other people who want to come and teach about a certain topic, right? So you get, let's say, 6 different experts on burnout, and then you sell it, and then you pay the coaches for the session, right? Or something, or they get a commission for sales, or there's so many.
Yeah. So that's good. So yeah, I'll probably be in your course. Or is it a course or is it a group coaching?
It's a group course. So I have group coaching. I have one starting in end of January. My advanced training is starting in January. It's a 3-month group coaching program. It's the groups are around 8 people or less. So it's very intimate, because the way I work is, like I said, there's not no cookie cutter strategy. No this will work for absolutely everyone. That's okay. It's about really nurturing who you are and what you need in your life in order to create that dream vision, and based on that. And that one is really focused on a lot of marketing, retention, and then overhauling your prices, making sure that you're making a profit from a place that, if you say, let's say, I want to just do 4 retreats per year and I want to make 100 grand. How do we work towards that? And is it just from the tickets, or is it a mix of the tickets and the upsells from the retreat? What would that look like in your business? So we really always have this space where is it's very tailored, because I don't believe there's one system that will work for absolutely everyone, because you're a different individual than who I am and everyone else who joins the program. So yeah, that one is a 3-month program. It's one session per week. There's a few tasks here and there because we implement as we learn, because we want it to like become a reality, right? We don't want it to be like, oh, some extra knowledge that I'll use one day.
Yeah. That was me. I was the knowledge queen. I'm like, I'm gonna read some more and learn some more. And I'm like, my coach like, you need to start taking some action. And I was like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly. So here we learn, and as we learn, we take action. That's like one of the core pieces of my model. Like, you're not just waiting until you have enough. That, you know, you'll never have enough.
Yeah.
So you'll never like have all the things that you think you need in order to go out there and do the thing, right? So it's all about like learning and taking action, learning and taking action. So then our brain also like makes it, oh, okay, this is normal, and we make it becomes a habit, right? And we really work a lot with like, this is a program focused on like marketing, right? Like really deep diving into like, it's basically kind of like a mini marketing MBA in a way, like for retreats, specifically for retreats. Because if you put some pieces in place, sometimes we were missing one piece, and then that piece just makes the whole engine work so much faster. And then as well, we focus a lot on pricing. And then there's like the one that has the group program, and then the one that also includes some one-on-one sessions with me, where we go deeper into your specific offer, into like your business. We review everything, and we're like, okay, so these are the things that are working. We don't change them, but how can we just implement a couple that are easy? I like easy implementations, nothing complicated, because who needs complicated?
Right. Okay. That's the end of January. Okay, well, I'll be on your page, and I will have to look into that.
Yeah, once I have like, yeah, that one doesn't have like a landing page, because it's invite. The advanced program is invite only, by the way. So you're officially invited.
Okay, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, no, this one is invite only because it's just for people who I see that they already have like the retreats, they're doing things right, but I see that like the vision that can be like so much larger than life, you know, like I can like there's certain requirements for.
Well, yeah, because I was like, I'm gonna need to. Well, I knew I was gonna need some assistance with retreats specifically, because I have been planning to do an international retreat, but I know that that's a whole other thing. And I was like, I'm gonna need some guidance, because I know that there's things with traveler's insurance, and different types of tax things. And I was like, okay, I'm just. So that was like, I was like, I knew that was on the back of my mind. Like, I really want to do an international retreat, probably. Well, again, we'll figure out how much time in advance people need for that. People always need more time in advance, then they say they still can't come. So that's, I need a year.
Yeah, there's two different type of people: the super planners, 1 year in advance, and the last minute buyers.
I'm just like, okay. So, all right, well, this is great.
Yeah. So I'll send you like an email with a little a little bit of like the breakdown. I'll send it to you probably like tomorrow or like Friday, and have a look, and I'll give you a link to book a half-an-hour call with me, and that way we can like really talk about your business, and I can like see the possibilities for it, and I'll be super honest in that call, and I'll tell you, yes, you need this program will benefit you. It's not really about needing, but like this program will really benefit you, or you might need something else, or you might not need it. Like, I don't like to bring people into my programs just for the sake of bringing people into my program. So yeah, having like a half-an-hour conversation in it, I think it would be like great for us to really see like where is like really go deeper into like where is your business at, where do you want to take it, and see if I can support you in that process.
Perfect.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Nikia. You'll also receive an email with once the 1 week before the podcast episode is coming live. It should be coming like, I think, end of November, beginning of December. And so you can share it with your audience, and people can see like, oh my gosh.
Yay, awesome.
All right. Thank you so much. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye. Talk to you soon.
Wow, what a great episode. If you like our podcast, How to Run Profitable Retreats, leave us a review and share it with a friend.